Homicidal clothes cause I'm dressed to kill. Leave 6 bitches oohing cause I'm worth a mill. Flow is ill, spitting no vomit spill. Killing them softly but I ain't Lauren.
What is up, my beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Townie Sports Podcast. I am one of your two hosts, Sammy. Alongside, as always, we are back. I know you guys miss us in this 2-week hiatus, but we are back. I'm alongside Vic. Vic, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. Just wearing my Celtic pride right here, and then of course I got to rock the Gators for our Lord and Savior Al Horford. So happy to be here.
Attaboy, what a game that was. We will touch on that, of course. We'll start off. As always, we're going to start off with the NBA playoffs because that is in full swing. I mean, these games have been absolutely tremendous, Vic. What have you thought of these NBA playoffs so far?
I love it, man. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was telling them how I felt like this is the first time in a long time, and maybe ever in my lifetime, that I felt that legitimately, 4 or 5 teams had the opportunity to win a championship. Do you feel different? I mean, I'm sure we'll touch on it later, but I mean, the Suns, the Celtics, the Heat, the Bucks, the Warriors. I mean, that's 5 right there. Memphis, maybe. Just that alone. I mean, that's amazing. It's like 5 teams that literally could win a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know you don't like it, but you can even throw Dallas in the mix only for the simple fact that they are freaking streaking right now. They are vibing and they are red hot. But before that, we're going to get into all that in a second. But just want to touch on, and then we're going to get into a little bit of the NFL draft. I think we're going to kind of format it more as like a Cliff Notes, kind of give people kind of the vibe that's going to happen in this draft class. Because unfortunately, there's not a huge star power in a sense of like, okay, we have these amazing, running backs, quarterbacks, big impact offensive weapon players that are coming into the draft. There's a lot of talent in this NFL draft, but it's kind of all across the board. More projects, more skilled players. So we'll do a brief touch on that. And then we're going to do a little bit of MLB talk. Not get too much into it. I know there's a couple storylines I kind of wanted to get into. And then obviously I'm going to allow, both of us to sound off on the state of the Boston Red Sox as always. And then at the end, of course, as always, our Townie takeaway, and that'll be the show. So big NBA show. And of course, so let's dive right into it, Vic. I'm going to let you cook, but the Celtics, the first team in the NBA to win their first round series, first team to move to the second round. They win the first round series with the sweep, and it was so sweet that they swept the Brooklyn Nets 4-0. Give us your breakdown of this series, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it was only last year where the inverse was true, right? Where Tatum was going into we didn't even get swept. We took a game. That just shows something there. I mean, Brooklyn had the clearly better team last year and wasn't able to sweep us. We came right back at them. We added a few old guys. We brought back Tice. We brought back Al. And bingo, bango, Bob's your uncle. So, the biggest thing in this series, and by the way, what a series, right? I mean, 4 games, every game was a nail-biter. Even when we were up by, 15 at one point, I never felt safe in that series. I felt like at any moment, Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving could go off. Kyrie Irving went off in game 1, and then I felt like he just gave up after that, right? I mean, we didn't hear much from him after that. But I want to drill down really on the Celtics and the Celtics defense. And one person in particular, I think, deserves a lot of credit. Of course, Al Horford, Marcus Smart. But how about the job that Grant Williams did on Kevin Durant in this series? He came in for minutes, and he really locked up Kevin Durant. And that gave Tatum time to breathe. And when we lost Tatum in the final minutes of Game 4, he was crucial to be a body on KD. So, great series for him. If he continues to grow like he has this season, he's going to be a solid rotation guy, probably a starter within the next few years here. And all my Grant Williams slander is just, I feel like I'm eating so much crow on Grant Williams for sure.
I mean, but there was a case to be made. I'm going to be honest. I didn't go down that hill with you just because I saw how effective he was defensively. But he did leave a lot to be desired offensively. And I just felt like I felt more comfortable with him shooting the ball in this series than probably I ever have. How about you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's corner office, right? So if you look at it, and I have his defensive numbers up right now, but I feel like every time he shoots in that corner, I'm never afraid. I expect it to go in now. Whereas, he's probably the second or third most person I'm confident in to take that shot, to be honest with you. Tatum 1, Tatum 1, Pritchard 2, Grant 3. What do you think, Sammy? I mean, has his development as a 3, he really has become a true 3-and-D guy, right?
Right.
And somebody with that size, right? Because basically that's what the Celtics are here, right? So they're just a team of big wings, and they're able to smother people on defense with pushing defense, and that's what Brooklyn's biggest issue here was here in this series is their lack of wings, right? So if you look at their team, it's pretty much just all guards and forwards. So you got you got Durant, who really is playing the power forward, and then you got a bunch of big guys around him, and then you have Curry, Seth Curry, you got Kyrie Irving, you got Dragic, who is a bigger guard, but still, Patty Mills. Their lack of wings is something that the Brooklyn Nets are going to need to address this offseason for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. I mean, the first thing, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Steve Nash. I mean, dude, he was trying every single game to find something, and credit to him, he never let the games get too out of hand. I mean, granted, it is really nice to have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving at his disposal, but I mean, he did have Blake Griffin come out one game and shoot lights out. Then he had Goran Dragic last night, who just, I mean, honestly, most of the nights, you know what I mean, reaching for that part of the bench. I mean, Patty Mills does go off occasionally, but I think Ime Udoka did a great job of exposing him defensively. He's an undersized guard, constantly switching onto him, so Steve Nash had to take him out. Like, you didn't see Patty Mills play as frequently as probably maybe he would have because he's just he's undersized. But I did want to say that we did all of this winning and sweeping by only shooting 35.5% from three in the series to the Brooklyn Nets 42%. And I would like to see that increase a little bit. I don't think it will, but I think that goes to show a lot of kind of how we've improved as an offense. And I was really, really surprised to see how much we were driving to the hole. What do you think? Did you see that difference? Like, we were really attacking the paint a lot more than I'm used to, in my opinion.
We had to. We had no choice. That was the mismatch, right? That's what, again, going back to the wings thing, that's what the advantage was.
But I think I was surprised that we stuck to it. I'm used to seeing it and then the guys stop, but there was just a consistency there,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Brown really should be applauded here as well because, JB really carried the torch for us in the fourth quarter several games. Not just game 4, but game 3. He had some really pivotal buckets. And I'm on cloud 9 that we won, Sammy, but there are some holes that we had in that series that would need to be addressed. Like you said, the perimeter shooting. We're a very streaky shooting team, I feel like. When we have it, we're on. When we don't have it, we're screwed.
I mean, we got 2 guys, right? Or let's say 3 guys that you feel comfortable shooting, and that's just not good. I think, Derek White was just abysmal last night to watch. From a shooting perspective, I thought everything else, he was always making the right pass. Always defensively switching properly. Always making the right play. But it's just, man, when he has those open shots, like, I just need a few to go in. It just felt like every time he had an open shot, I could tell he didn't want to take it, but he's like, I'm this wide open, I have to take it. And it just wasn't going in for him. And that's so unfortunate.
But to Derek White's credit, let's be honest, he's been a horrible shooter all season. But to his credit, his impact is his ball movement, the way he keeps the ball flowing, and also one that attacks the basket. Right? You'll see him multiple times a game go to the rim and have no fear going to the rim. So that's something that the Celtics miss, whereas, Schroeder would have just kept hoisting up threes. Derek White, it pushes the pace, helps on defense, and keeps the ball moving. And that's why he's so important to this team. I don't need Derek White to shoot. That's what we have Grant for. That's why Pritchard's playing more, right? We need White to be in there as a change of pace guy, keeping that ball moving when he's in there with the second unit.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing to note, some of the advanced stats. Offensive rating 119.2. That was an increase from 113.6 in the regular season. I think part of that has to do with Brooklyn's just pretty much lack of defense. 115 on the defensive rating, and I think, again, this is the inverse. This is the Brooklyn having such a good offense, that you're going to have a rating that's going to struggle, considering our defensive rating in the regular season when 106. So you see that 9-point difference. But, I mean, this is a good shooting team that we just beat. Effective field goal percentage, 56.2%. That I thought was really significant considering our regular season was 54.2%. So we're getting good shots. Again, could be kind of skewed because, Brooklyn is a very collapsed defense. Whenever you drive, they collapse. And so you're left with a lot of open shots. But I really liked what I saw from that aspect. Would have liked to see the defense a little bit better, but considering how strong Brooklyn is on offense, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I think that's what our game plan was mostly. It was the Bill Belichick game plan, right? Your other guys are going to beat us, but your stars aren't. And that's what we did. We let Bruce Brown get his, whatever it was. We let him flex, make himself feel good about himself. We let Blake Griffin come in, make his threes, feel good about himself, and then on the other end, Tatum just torched him. So that was and I can't stop talking about this enough. The fact that we have two transcendent wings right now. This is what Clippers wanted to be, right? And we have those guys, and they're younger, and I think more talented at this point. I said it. I said Tatum's a better player than Kawhi. So what? I'm excited, not just for this season, but for next season moving forward as well. If we can keep this unit together, and I think all these guys are under contract for another year. I don't think we have a free agent this offseason.
I don't think so. Because that's why we got Derek White's contract, because I think he was an extra year too.
Right. And then in 2 years, you have Horford come off the books, and, that's a lot of money to spend. So
Horford's been awesome.
He's been great. I'm not talking about him and I'm not saying we have Horford's money coming off the books, but we'd probably sign him to a more reasonable contract, I would hope, and then free up some money there for some more bench shooting. But the way this team is constructed, this was the perfect matchup for the Celtics going against Brooklyn. Every single matchup you saw, other than when they were when KD was matched up with Tatum, but KD didn't really care about playing defense, I feel like. But every single matchup was a mismatch. You had Brown being guarded by Seth Curry, who's just way too small to be guarding a big guy like Brown. And then you have Tatum, you have Blake Griffin, guarding Tatum in games 3 or 4. And I respect to Steve Nash. I get the Hail Mary, but really you're going to bring Blake Griffin in and think it's going to change up. I know he had to throw something at it, but that ain't it, bro. That ain't it.
Yeah, he tried it. Like I said, he tried his best. He kept the games close. Even on some of those when he was constructing a bench, when he had to take Kyrie and KD out, I was getting nervous, because then his bench started playing better than our bench because he constructed it a little bit differently to attack our weaknesses. But kudos to him. But I think too, to your point about Jason Tatum, man, 29.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and 7.3 assists in this series. Those are some really critical numbers to look at, because what you and I have kind of gotten on Jason Tatum was, number one, his lack of constant driving to the hoop. We saw a lot more of that, and obviously matchup dependent, but we saw him passing out and also people hitting shots. So there's a little bit of both. He is becoming a much better passer, facilitator, trusting the rest of his team more, but also our guys were hitting open shots. And that is amazing. Those numbers are ridiculous. And that's why everywhere I've been seeing on TV the last day has been, everybody's putting Jason Tatum now in their top 3, top 4. And I'm just where have you guys been? Where have you guys been?
As far as ceiling wise, he's definitely there. I think the biggest thing for me is defensively. and like you said, ball movement, right? His ball movement. The crazy thing is that in the beginning of this season, this is not what we saw from really any of these guys, right? Especially Tatum. From Tatum, all we saw was a guy that holds the ball too long until he's got 2 seconds left of the shot clock and then hoists up a terrible shot.
A step back.
And the thing is, like,
Tatum.
Yeah, like a Kobe fadeaway. It's like, dude, relax. And then, like,
I didn't see a lot of those in this series. Only when he was starting to get hot, like when he was feeling it, then he was taking them, which I was fine with.
Yeah, I mean, the guy shot 42% from three this series, so he give him his due. And the way he was guarding Kevin Durant was on another level. Give Grant his props, but when you get that kind of effort out of your star, out of your number one player, that sets the tone for the team. I says, hey, this guy's a dog. He's gonna fight. Let's go. Let's fight with him.
This team's buying in, and I'm liking every second of it. This team is really buying in.
Same here. I agree, Sammy. Now, the biggest nitpick I have, though, in this series is I worry when Tatum comes off and Brown is in alone without a primary ball handler. I feel like the ball sticks with him a lot, and he's not the greatest ball handler. We saw
worse.
Several times
I feel like it's gotten worse.
And I don't know how, but he's got to figure that out, or we got to figure out a way to constantly have a ball handler. Maybe let Pritchard work with the ball, and then do your thing, set screens, get open, but don't have him with the ball with 20 seconds on the shot clock, please.
Yeah, I think too. One more note I wanted to point out: Robert Williams played around 14.5 minutes per game. Looked a little bit rusty, but I mean, I felt like his presence was definitely felt, especially on a defensive end. Just being an extra body there, I thought he got a lot of really huge rebounds, especially in like some runs where Brooklyn was putting runs on, and maybe during that run they missed a shot, and Rob is right there to clean it up. And I'm hoping this week of rest, like this is so perfect that all of this worked out this way, because now he gets an extra week of rest. I'm hoping those numbers can go into the 20s, maybe the 30s by game 2 or 3. But we'll see. I mean, I didn't see a lot of hampering. I saw a little bit of just rustiness, and maybe that's a little bit of losing a little bit of fitness. That's kind of all I saw. It
was definitely on the offensive end, Sammy. And I feel like he was still there defensively. Maybe a little bit late on some of his typical blocks, but he was still there. You saw the explosiveness was still there, so that made me feel confident. I think this is just a getting back into the rhythm kind of thing. You got to remember, Robert Williams hasn't really experienced much playoff basketball yet in his career. He got a taste last year, but he hardly played. He's been on playoff teams, but I remember him being buried on the bench for those games. This was his real. These were his real trial by fire minutes, I think, this year. So I think he'll come back with time. Give him time. He came back so quickly anyway, unlike Ben Simmons. But that's not, I don't know if you want to. Everybody's dogged them already. I don't need to.
It's been all over the internet, memes everywhere, dude. It's so funny. Yeah.
If I see one more person say that Ben Simmons is targeting Game 5, I'm gonna explode.
I know. I gotten that text like 5 times already. So any last things you want to touch on before we move on to the next slate of games?
The Boston Celtics. I don't want to take too much about the Celtics, but I like this team a lot. I just like rooting for them. I'll tell you what though, I don't know why I was so nervous for that whole series, but I felt like if Brooklyn won a game, I was like, oh my God, they're going to come back and win it all. This is me as a Boston fan, just expecting misery. Yeah. So the fact that we were able to go in there with Scott Foster, the final boss, right? It's like, if you want this sweep, you got to beat the final boss. So we beat the final boss. Scott Foster, suck it. Go C's. We'll see you in round 2, baby.
I know. I just didn't want to blame it on that. I know that was such a ticky-tack call, but I'm like, you still got to play better. There were like 3 straight offensive plays where we literally lost the ball ourselves. So I'm like, I mean, yes, you can't call that. Like Udoka screamed at him, was like, you can't call that at the end of the game like that on a 6th foul. But also we were shooting ourselves in the foot, like.
Thank you for reminding me. Can we talk about Marcus Smart's layup at the end? What the hell he was thinking? 20 seconds left, running it down the court, going for a fucking layup. Thank God Al Horford was there. Could you imagine if he wasn't? Oh, dude, I was Oh, I was losing my shit when I saw him. I was like, "What are you doing?"
That was my Instagram post when Steph posted that Instagram where I was like, let's go, and then like I took a huge breath. That breath was because of Marcus Smart Smith's layup.
What the fuck was he doing? Thank God Al Horford was there to clean it up.
Yeah.
I love Al Horford, man. I said it when the trade happened. I said this is going to be a good thing for the Celtics. He's going to be good.
We did in our Instagram live.
Yes, I did.
But all right, let's go to this series so that we can kind of touch on both of them. So the Milwaukee Bucks are up 3-1. I mean, we don't have to touch too much on it. Levine, I think, entered the health and safety protocol today and is probably out for Game 5 as of like 2 or 3 hours ago. What do you see from this series as far as Milwaukee and Chicago? I mean, maybe not so much on the Chicago side because, I mean, they're becoming a team that we all thought they were, just a mediocre team. A little bit better than mediocre, but a team that will beat bad teams but struggles against good teams. But as far as Milwaukee's concerned.
Milwaukee lost their number 2, really, in Middleton, right? So Middleton's done. For I believe at least this series, right? And could be longer. Is that what it is? The word on the street. Is that what your
MCL sprain. So that's tough.
I mean, you're the one that knows about that kind of stuff. So like, what is he looking at there in terms of when he comes back? Is he going to still have is there still going to be some recovery, or is he going to be back just fine?
I think you're looking at a potential Rob Williams situation where if he comes back, it's probably going to be in that 14-minute range. And it's still going to be a little bit shady for them because when you have a sprain, the potential for a tear starts to increase. But, I mean, they are giving him this time off to recover and rest that. So it just depends on the severity of the sprain. I don't know if it's come out what the severity of that sprain is. But, I mean, it's very, very shady. That's all I got to say. It's very, very shady. So.
Well, the thing that scares me the most is that Middleton's the Celtic killer, right? I feel like every time we play Chris Middleton,
so, pretty much the Celtics and Heat killer, yeah.
Oh wow! Well, good for him, piece of shit. But the thing is, so he wasn't playing all that great before he went out. Right. Granted, small sample size. He played 1 game, 1.5 games, if that. But he was stroking the ball from 3. He hit 43%. I think that's what Middleton scares. That's what scares me the most about Middleton is another guy that can just get hot. Now, of course, you got to deal with Drew Holiday, but I think we have the dogs to lock up Drew Holiday. The only one that scares me is Chris Middleton. Granted, I think we're going to have the same kind of game plan that we had going in with the Nets, right? Lock down Giannis for as well as you can, right? And lock down Drew Holiday.
Do you think this is going to be a situation where Ime Udoka looks at the I hate to keep bringing it up. The Celtics 2008, how they guarded LeBron James and literally just crowded the paint and forced Giannis to take jump shots.
Oh, this is okay. This is a way better team than that Cavs team. I mean, Booby Gibson isn't.
But I'm just saying, you can still construct it in a way that, you crowd the paint and you force Giannis to not get into the spots that he wants. I mean, I still think he's going to get his, but if you force him to struggle.
You got to try and limit him as best you can, if you can, right? I mean, I know Giannis. Well, in the last match of the year, the Celtics did come away with the W. So at least we're going with the confidence. We're going in with home court, right? So that's major. And unlike Milwaukee, we're not cowards. We're not afraid of Brooklyn. We're not afraid of other teams. We don't duck other teams. So those are the 3 factors that are really going for us. On top of this, for Giannis, for the Bucks to win this series, Giannis needs to score at least 30 points per game, I think. If he puts up 30 a game, as much as I hate to say it, I think the Celtics are in trouble. But I mean, what scares you most, Sammy, about the Bucks? Like, what player besides Giannis are you worried about?
When you mentioned it yesterday, I am a little bit concerned about that. Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen,
if he can shoot, because that's what's been killing us, dude. Like I think if you take this Brooklyn series, you take Seth Curry out, they probably don't come back from a lot of those runs, right? Like, I mean, they might, but he was very big on lighting the fire because he was hitting a lot of open shots in situations where we were just going on runs and he would destroy that, or he would start a huge run for them and then get KD going. That's what I'm afraid of, because that's where we struggle. And again, Chris Middleton, right? Like, that's the same situation there. He always kills us with that, where he hits a couple big open shots and then we collapse.
And then we're deflated.
Yeah.
And then like there goes the neighborhood kind of thing.
Right.
You know, for what it's worth, during the regular season, we did split the regular season matchup, and I'm gonna tell you real quick what Giannis's numbers were in those series, because that's what I most want to know is what did Giannis put up against the Celtics this season, especially in the later half of the season. So I'm looking here real quick.
While you're looking, I just wanted to mention, so Giannis currently out of base in the playoffs, based on at least 32 minutes played, 32 minutes per game played, has the best net rating in the playoffs at plus 21.4.
Well, yeah, I mean he's the best player in the league. So
yeah, so that's pretty impressive. I think second is 20.9, and then it drops off to like 18. So pretty big numbers there for Giannis. And you'll be surprised by who's number 2, by the way.
Who's number 2?
Jimmy Butler.
Really? I hate Jimmy Butler. I hate the way he plays. It's so out of control. So in 3 games against the Celtics this year, Giannis averaged 28 points, 53% field goal percentage, but still only came away with the 1 win. So suck it. So maybe that might not be the game plan based on what they did in the regular season.
Let them drop.
They might. Yeah, and say let's let these other guys beat us, because I don't know that we have a Giannis killer, right? I mean, we did.
We don't have Semi anymore.
I was gonna say we don't have Shemi, so I don't think we have a guy that's gonna be able to take. And you would think Rob Williams would be that guy, but he's too important as a roaming center to be matched up one-on-one with Giannis. And let's be honest, I love Rob, but he's not athletic enough to keep up with that man. I don't think anybody in the league is. Let's be honest, but. Yeah, I think maybe the game plan might be to limit the other guys.
Yeah. I mean, we do have the dogs. You know, I mean, look what Marcus Smart did to Kyrie, man. I mean, even with all the handles, I mean, it's arguable that, you know, Kyrie's one of the best dribblers in all of basketball, one of the best finishers. And I thought Marcus Smart was all in him, all over his ass, paws, like just all over it, bro, like killing him.
Leave it to us to take a series about the Bucks going up 3-1. Talk about the Celtics.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up, was because, you know, that's probably going to be the next matchup. So it kind of makes sense from that perspective of like, okay, how are you looking at this? Because, I mean, I think this is wrapped up. I mean, you look at DeRozan, he's been a net negative pretty much all season or all series. Despite his outburst in game 2 where he dropped 41, he's only averaging about 23 points per game. I mean, that's not going to cut it for you being the A guy on your team in the playoffs, considering you don't have a lot of other options around you, especially when you have to kind of step up. He's shooting 40% from the field. His regular season was 50%, like you and I talked about during the regular season. He's one of the best 2-point shooters, if you will, in the entire league. He's also 0% from 3 as opposed to 35% in the regular season, and he's actually taking the same amount of shots from 3. Granted, smaller sample size than the regular season, but I mean, just completely just kind of vanishing after game 2. I mean, you look at his points per game; it's 18 in game 1, 41 in game 2, 11 in game 3, 23 in game 4. If Jason Tatum dropped 11 in a playoff game, like, you and I would be saying a different story right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know, this really DeRozan shouldn't be he should be 1A or 1B. Right. Levine needs to be helping him out. This isn't only on DeRozan.
I know, but
horrible
Jaylen Brown's
defensive.
been playing better than that, especially on the defensive end, the rebounds and the assists. You combine all of that, he's putting up a better stat line than DeMar DeRozan is.
Well, shit. So is Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
But DeRozan is what he is. My question to you is, what do the Bulls do this offseason? Where do you go from here? Do you just back with healthy Lonzo and healthy Caruso and see what happens?
I don't think so. And I think the biggest thing that they have to look at is, I think this is what you pointed this out to me early on. And you said, only because you said you didn't think that the 42.5 would hit because you didn't think they had the depth. And I think that's one part of it is they lack the depth. But I also feel like they lack the defensive horses. I forgot the exact stat. I was going to mention it a few weeks ago. Totally forgot. Mm-hmm. But if you look at their defensive difference when Caruso is on the court and off, it's like drastic. It's like almost non-existent when Caruso's not playing. And you can't have that, right? Like, even though we lost Rob, like, our defensive efficiency was still pretty good because we had Marcus Smart, we had the Grant Williams. Like, they don't have those kind of other guys to kind of step in and have that defensive presence. I mean, I know we keep relating it to the Boston Celtics, but
bring it back, baby.
But I mean, I think they need another defensive guy. They probably need a ball handling playmaker, maybe a guy that doesn't really shoot. I mean, to be honest, I think Marcus Smart would be a good fit there for them. I mean, probably be perfect for those two guys, but I don't want to lose him, and it's never going to happen. Maybe a Chris Paul.
Marcus Smart's on the team for another 3 years.
I know.
But you know who is Zach LaVine.
Oh.
He is a free agent this
year. Okay. So maybe they are relying on maybe starting it over with DeRozan, letting LaVine walk.
Why would you? I don't know how they could do that though, because I mean LaVine's 27 years old. He should be in the prime of his career right now, right? And how old is DeRozan? 32, 33?
32, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you what, the free agent crop this offseason is not what it has been in the previous seasons. I mean, yes, we got John Wall. That was a joke. We got James Harden. We got Bradley Beal, and we got Kyrie Irving. All three of those players have player options.
I mean, Kyrie Irving's staying in Brooklyn. Didn't you know?
Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. He'll probably go somewhere weird. He is a player option for $34 million.
Yeah.
There's no way he picks it up, right? He declines and they have to re-sign him for $50 million.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and James Harden is $42 million, but I don't want to get into that yet. So the top unrestricted free agents: Gary Harris, Zach LaVine, Ricky Rubio, Andre Iguodala, Thaddeus Young, Joe Ingles, Taurean Prince, Yusuf Nurkic, T.J. Warren, and then it gets pretty thin from there. Well, DeAndre Ayton, but he's restricted free agent. But that's about it. Honestly, if I'm the Bulls, I make a run at Marvin Bagley, who's a restricted free agent this year, but I think looked really good on Detroit as soon as he left that piece of shit Sacramento team.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But anyway, all right. So everybody, just to let everybody know, I'm sure they already know, but most likely, depending on how I think tomorrow goes, the Bucks and the Celtics will face off in the second round, probably sometime next week, Sunday, Monday, I think should be game 1. Depending on if there's a game 6 or 7 in that Chicago-Milwaukee series. Doesn't really look like it unless something miraculous happens. Watch it end up happening, and I'm going to look like an absolute fool.
There's no chance, Sammy. You're
no
safe.
shot. I'm good, right?
Even if they win this game, next
like
game,
calling a perfect game,
There's no way. There's no way that they come back and beat the Bucks.
Yeah. But all right, on to the next one. The other side of the bracket. The Philadelphia 76ers had a chance last night While the Celtics game was going on at about the same time to close out the series 3-1 at home, but they did not, and the Raptors came out victorious, and the series is now 3-2. If you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan, Victor, how are you feeling right now?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm at about 6, maybe a 5. It's not that I'm worried that the Hawks are going to beat us. I'm worried that
Raptors
are going to beat us. I'm worried that Embiid. Sorry, I have the Hawks Heat game on. But I'm worried that Embiid's thumb is not going to hold up. This is the same type of injury that Jaylen Brown had last year and elected for surgery sat out for the whole playoffs. That's why Jaylen missed the playoffs last year. This isn't something that you can play through, but it's not great, and it's on his shooting hand. That's what worries me the most. James Harden has to step up here in order for Philly to even, I hate to be like an alarmist, but to be competitive here. And this Toronto team is good, but they're not world beaters. I mean, I've seen so many
flaws. But they
flaws.
can force you to beat yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just get tired of watching Nick Nurse cry on the sideline. And like, I'm not going to play defense anymore. I'm just going to walk away from this shit. I mean, he's the worst. But I don't know, man. I think that injury is a serious problem. I think that injury is as much of a problem for Philly as Booker's is for Phoenix.
And that's another.
So I'm not.
Too,
I still get. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What were you saying?
I still give the advantage to Philly here, of course. Number one, they have home court. Number two, they have the lead. They're up 3-2. So obviously there, but would I be shocked if Toronto came back, made it 3-3, and then edged out a win in Philly? No. I'm just saying, don't get the confetti ready just yet, but.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, James Harden is the big thing here. I mean, I thought Joel Embiid has played well despite, like you mentioned, the thumb injury. But, I mean, I just want to point out, like, James Harden has been a very good distributor for this team in this playoffs. Yeah. But I just feel like he's not showing the impact that a player like that or a player like they expected him to be. I mean, he's shooting 37.3%. He's more of a 40 to 42% field goal player. He's attempting 2 less shots a game. So obviously, like I'm mentioning, he's not showing the impact. He's not showing, like you're saying, the aggressiveness. He has 2 less assists per game, 3 less three-pointer attempts per game, which is kind of unheard of. I mean, I think a little bit has to go with the rules and all that stuff. But Embiid did say it. I think it was yesterday. He mentioned that, James Harden's got to be himself. He has to be more aggressive, and he's got to take a lot of the onus off of Embiid. So Embiid can be impactful when he feels comfortable, when he needs to. But Embiid does need that help. That's the reason why they went out and got James Harden.
Right.
I thought Maxey has been awesome too, but I mean,
Maxey's great. Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and bash Maxey and be like, oh, is Maxey scaring anybody? But I mean, you can kind of consider that Maxey might scare you. He could be like that Chris Middleton guy, that can really just crush you. But I mean, you don't have James Harden there just to pass the ball is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. And honestly, Tobias Harris has been pretty good in the playoffs. Surprisingly.
I was going to say that. Tobias Harris has been a real surprise here. And for somebody that was supposed to be the original number 3/2 on that team, he has had a big impact on this series. Back to Harden though. I mean, his abysmal shooting numbers have really hampered this offense and the way that they move. The thing that scares me most about Toronto is that I don't think they have any fear of this Philly team. I don't think they're worried about Embiid. I mean, I know that they know Embiid can beat them, but I don't think they're worried about him with this injury. And to go back to our first point that we made today about all these teams that could possibly win the championship this year, I mean, when was the last time we've seen so many impactful injuries in the postseason? We've lost
in the first series too. In the first, in the first series.
Yeah, Devin Booker, right? That's the headline. But then Middleton, you have Embiid, you have Lowry, and to a lesser extent Rob Williams, even though it was before then, but still, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
Luka to start the series.
Luka. And I can't wait to talk about that series. That shit is crazy. But I'm trying to find Harden's. There we go. So he's shooting 37% from three and 37% from the field. He's only taking 13 shots. Is it 13 shots a game?
Yeah.
That's nothing for James Harden.
Nothing.
And
I think his free throws are down too.
Yeah.
He's taking 7 free throws a game.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to, I think it's usually like 10, 11.
Yeah, and it's James Harden right here. Let's see here. Riveting. Yeah, 7 free throws a game, 83% from the line. But I mean, it's the playoffs. He's not going to get those same calls that he gets in the regular season. I get that. I'm not.
He's taking less shots though, so he's just it shows that he's being less aggressive.
I mean, if I would still rather have James Harden over Ben Simmons though. Just saying.
Would you rather have James Harden over Seth Curry?
Now that's the real question.
That's been the question.
Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. Golly. Oh, my God. That would be... Yeah, I guess, they would be really needed here, huh? I mean, Seth Curry, who shot, was it 52% from three in the series against the Celtics? I mean, but overall, I still think the winners of this trade are the Philadelphia 76ers. I think
that's always 2020.
Yeah, I like that. I think they're going to be fine. I think they escape, whether it be Game 7 or Game 6. I think they're going to get away here. Well, actually, you know what? I just realized. So Game 6 is in Toronto. Tybal can't play.
Oh,
so
yeah. Real quick. Yo, shout out to Arctic JC. I was at his baby shower on Saturday. It was beautiful. Congratulations. I was so happy to be able to, celebrate that time with you. And you're welcome for the detergent. You have other stuff coming in the mail right now. I didn't just get him detergent, even though he put that in the chat. There's other stuff coming. But yeah, shout out to Arctic JC. And if you guys, make sure you check out his YouTube channel, Arctic JC. He does a lot of Pokemon card pack openings. Shout out to Anthony. Thanks again for commenting on my soccer skills. They're not as good as they used to be. Steve Nash would probably still wreck me. But yeah, shout out to Anthony and Elvia. I think Elvia did that cool thing for Al Horford's daughter. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, continue, Vic. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to shout out to...
I'm catching up. Hey, AJC, I guess my invite got lost in the mail. No. Congratulations, brother. That's such a great feeling becoming a dad. It's a huge step, brother. Congrats.
Shout out Victoria.
Shout out Victoria. I don't know you, but
that's her. That's the daughter. That's gonna be the daughter's name.
Oh, the daughter. Okay. Oh, it's a girl. Oh, congrats. But what was that? What was I talking
about? James Harden.
Oh, Tybal.
Yeah.
Tybal's gonna be out Game 6. I don't know, man. I foresee a Game 7 in the future.
Does that increase your number? You said 5-6 with the Tybal situation. Does that increase the number a little bit?
No, because they still have to go back to Philly for Game 7. And if I'm a Philly fan, I'm confident in my team to win one game at home against this Toronto team. But unless Pascal Siakam plays like he did, a few nights ago, I don't know. But I still like my chances if I'm Philly. I'm going to give him an 80% chance to pull out this series.
So you heard it here first. If you're a Philly fan, shout out to my boy Robbie. He went on his bachelor party last week. Went on a cruise. But Philly fans, be a little bit worried with Embiid's injury. But overall, this series, we think you got it locked up. Next series is probably a different story. And that's where we are getting to next. Shout out to Arctic JC and my boy Danny. Miami Heat are up 3-1 in the series. Vic, hit me. What's the current score of the game they are playing right now?
I have a lot of tension in my neck. Jesus. So it's 58-50. Miami Heat with the lead here. Looks like Herter just threw a ball. Yeah, yo, you can't make this shit up. Herder just threw a ball. Okay, never mind. He was not on the bench. Okay, I thought that guy was coming off the bench, but Herder just threw the ball out of bounds. They're looking at the replay right now. I'm telling you, this Atlanta team stinks.
They suck.
This is such a bad team, and Trae Young sucks to watch. He's worse than James Harden. I mean, the way he hunts calls.
I told my buddies the other day. I'm like, Trae Young is a diet Steph Curry, but like a 0-calorie Steph Curry. Like,
I don't
just
even
like
think that. Steph Curry plays defense.
But regardless, I'm just talking about, even if he just were to take both of their offensive games. I know Trae Young models his entire game after Steph Curry, but it's just like an ugly, disgusting taste version of Steph Curry's offensive game.
Yeah, I mean, if Steph Curry's cocaine, Trae Young's crack. You know? So he's so annoying to watch. And he's just so, like, I get it that this guy's... Yeah, dude, just shave it already. Shave your head. Your hair looks weird. It looks like a doll.
Yeah, Atlanta Hawks are complete dog shit. As a team, they're one of the worst three-point percentage teams in the entire league this playoffs, and they shoot the most shots. They're fourth to last in effective field goal percentage. They have a minus 14.5 net rating, which I believe is the worst in the playoffs. I mean, good God, man. I said this earlier. Maybe I'm an idiot. I was like, I wish the Cavs didn't lose that one game or that series, because I feel like the Cavs probably would have matched up better against Miami. Not that they'll beat Miami, but it probably would have been more enjoyable to watch. Like, I just can't stand watching the Atlanta Hawks. They jack up every single shot from any. It doesn't matter where they get the ball from. They're shooting it. And I'm just like, dude, you guys, this is so ugly.
I mean, and the thing is, like, Trae Young is shooting 21% from three and 37% from the field. I mean, just atrocious numbers. The guy hunts fouls like he's hunting for food in the middle of winter of Russia. I mean, this guy is just so annoying to watch. And my bad, JC, but the only team I hate more than the Heat, like watching play, are the Trae Young Atlanta Hawks.
I do too. I honestly said that today too. I was like, I can't wait for the series to be over. Like, I can't stand the Hawks being on TV.
And outside, I don't think this is a good look for, that side of the bracket is so much goddamn easier. Oh my God, can you imagine if the Celtics were on that side of the bracket? Oh, the fact that the Heat did not sweep this shitty team boggles my mind.
Well, Charles said it yesterday on TNT. He was like, they got lucky that one game where everything was falling, but nothing else has been falling since. So you just know that this is just an amateur basketball team trying to play a professional basketball team.
Well, let me because you're close with a lot of Heat fans, Sammy. So, what's the word on Oladipo, and how do Heat fans feel about Victor Oladipo?
They like him. They were a little bit impatient at first, because I think when he finally was able to play, they all were kind of with the whole, oh, geez, finally he's out there. But I think a lot of them like him because he fits in their system kind of pretty well, because he plays really good face-up defense on guards. He distributes the ball very well. I think they're probably going to be a little frustrated that his offensive game isn't probably where it used to be. But I think he's anemic.
It's anemic. I mean, granted, it's only, was it 2 games, 1 game?
But he's not trying to be that guy anymore.
But dude, he attempted 5 3-pointers last game, made 0 of them, shot 30% from the field, 3 of 10 for 6 points, did not get to the line. All right.
So to me, their perspective on him, probably to a little bit of a lesser extent of a comparison, but the only way I can compare it back to the Celtics is probably like us with Derek White. Like, a guy off the bench, change of pace, he's not gonna shoot well, but he's not going to destroy. He's not going to be a complete zero because he helps in other ways on the court.
Yeah, but you're not paying him to be a role guy. You know, we're paying Derek White, was it $12 million a year? Oladipo, I mean, that's a lot of money that could be going somewhere else. I love Victor Oladipo coming up. You know, not only because he had the same name as me, but because he was on the Magic. He was a good defender. Oh, he's only making $2 million this year. I didn't know he was a free agent.
Right.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I thought he got traded with his contract. Wow.
Yeah, that's why I was like wondering where you were going to go with that. I was waiting for you to pull the number up because I wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, I don't think he's making anywhere close to 10, but I'm not 100% sure.
I thought he was still making the 21 he was making in
I didn't think it was that
Indiana. Low. No, he's only making $2 million. I'd take Oladipo for $2 million a year.
Yeah.
That's basically a flyer.
Yeah. And I think he's fitting the mold.
Oh, I gotta see what JC says here. Okay, so he likes him. He likes Oladipo.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, yeah. Quick shout out: Jimmy Butler currently has a 20.9 net rating out of all of the teams that I consider qualified. So I said about 32 minutes per game. He's second behind Giannis. I think he's been. You say he's sporadic. From what I've seen from him on the court, watching these Heat games, because I've been keeping a close eye on them. Because obviously, you know, my boy JC, my other buddy Danny, I like to keep an eye on kind of the Heat, see what they're. And luckily, their games have been a little bit earlier, like before the later games, so that helps.
Yeah.
But I like what I'm seeing from him. He gets a really quiet 30, but he also affects the game in other ways on defense. I mean, he's a grinder, man, and he's an absolute grinder. Granted, the other day I made a comment because he did one of the sporadic things. He didn't do a lot in the last game, but there was one where he tried to flush on I forgot his name. One of the centers for Atlanta tried to flush on him, and I was like, bro, it was somebody else. Could have easily went up and under, but he tried to jam. But anyway, he went apeshit after that. I think after that he had like 24 points straight, or not straight, but had 24 points. He had 6 points at that point.
Well, I'm thinking more like along the lines that he's so out of control, and he does like Marcus Smart shit sometimes. Like the game that they lost, he had like the last second shot, right? And he was like dribbling the ball for 10 seconds around the 3-point line, trying to get free. And rather than dish it to one of the 17 freaking amazing shooters that are on the along the key there, he dribbles into a double team and then takes a fadeaway three from like the point of the arc. So I mean, that's the shit that I'm talking about. Like, he does this hero shit sometimes, and he just looks so out of control sometimes that I would not like for Jimmy Butler to be on my team, but I'm happy.
40 minutes though, he's giving you everything. That's why. Great.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think we're ever going to agree on Jimmy Butler.
I don't think so either.
I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying I wouldn't want him.
I get your point, but if you watch what he does, like he makes really good. I know what you're talking about. I know there are those moments where he lapses and plays hero ball, but compared to some of the other players, which we'll talk about soon, it's not as frequently. And what he does for the other bulk of the minutes, 38 to 40 minutes, is really, really smart basketball. Granted, he does have a really good roster construction around him. Like, Pat Riley is a complete genius. I don't care what anybody says. People want to say Spo. This is Pat Riley. Like, this is pure Pat Riley.
No. You got to give Spo credit.
No,
dude.
I'm giving him credit for coaching. But, I mean, you got to give Pat Riley so much credit for constructing this roster.
That's the only thing the thing that scares me most about the Heat is Eric Spoelstra. None of their players scare me at all. Eric Spoelstra is the X factor.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, last time they went zone on us, and we didn't we acted like we never seen a fucking zone before. And it was like,
that's where Derek White's gonna help. I swear to God, I think that's where
he's gonna help. He was there.
Yeah,
he was there that game.
They always do it to us.
and then Steve Nash tried to do that shit, and we were like, nah, dude, you can't do this.
You can't.
I don't have the guys for this. Oh, God, go Celtics.
Yeah. But all right, let's go to I think that's all. That's the wrap up pretty much of the East. So it looks like we got Miami, Philly, barring a crazy Toronto comeback. But I think Miami's going to wrap that up tonight. One more time, yeah. It's about 8:56 p.m. in case people listen to the podcast tomorrow. What is the score of this Miami Heat game?
Oh, it's a commercial right now.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad. I'm dropping the ball. I'll tell you.
That's your one job. No, I'm just kidding. 65-52. Okay, yeah, that game's over. So the Heat pretty much are walking away with that.
Although Heat Philly's gonna be a good series.
I think it's gonna be good. I think we're in for two really good semifinal series. So.
Yeah, but one's gonna be good basketball, one's gonna be trash basketball. But yeah.
All right, so let us start with the Pelicans and the Suns. This game, only reason I'm starting at 1. I know last time I started at 2, but this time I'm going to start at number 1. So the Pelicans at the Suns. So everybody looked at the Phoenix Suns pretty much from the regular season, 66-16 team. Like, oh, they're going to blow things out. This is going to be so easy. And normally I would say the same. And I know you would probably say the same. They should blow out the Pelicans, right? But holy crap, are the Suns in trouble after Devin Booker went out. What are you seeing with these games, man?
I don't know what to think. I don't know which way's up. I don't know, what's going on here. I feel like I live in bizarro world where the Pelicans are all of a sudden good and Phoenix is back to their old Phoenix ways. I cannot fathom why Phoenix can't secure a W on the road here, or secure a W in New Orleans. How they come away not up 3-1 in this series, even without Devin Booker. I give the Pelicans all the credit in the world. They've been, they're this plucky little team that came along. CJ McCollum's been great. Oh my God, my Puerto Rican guy.
Alvarado.
His name. Alvarado, yeah. Boricua, Bocatula Sepa, and but that's my guy. He's killing it too. Herb Jones. I mean, just sounds like he's out of the 50s. Herb Jones with the 3-pointer. Herb Jones has been great. Valanciunas has given them good minutes. All with Zion on the bench. And then street clothes, nonetheless, looking like he's 500 pounds. I don't think I'm worried unless the Pelicans win on the road here or win on.
So that's tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tonight. So I think the Suns are in trouble, man. I mean,
in Phoenix.
The Pelicans are attacking Chris Paul. They're making things difficult, so they look like they're doing kind of what a lot of these teams are trying to do is attack your best player, make everybody else beat you. And, I mean, DeAndre Ayton's getting his, but Brandon Ingram on the other side is absolutely destroying. Like, what he's been doing on this team has been incredible. 29.8 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's got a plus 7.7 net rating in the playoffs. 56% effective field goal percentage on 28.2% usage. I mean, he's doing it all. Playing decent defense. I mean, that's not really his game, but, I mean, he's distributing. He's being that second passer. He's scoring when he needs to. The Pelicans are gelling. I mean, yeah, like you said, CJ McCollum has been playing really well as well. I mean, this could be a case where, maybe this is a bad matchup without Devin Booker. I mean, Devin Booker's just one of those players that just transcends, like you mentioned earlier about, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But Devin Booker is another one of those types of players that just makes you that much better, that when you lose him and you pull him out, like, your team gets that much worse.
Well, I mean, these guys have to step up. Cameron Johnson needs to step up.
He did. He's got 20 points a game.
No. But he needs to be a bigger factor. We need Landry Shamet needs to step up. Mikal Bridges needs to step up.
Mikal Bridges, I'll give you that.
These role players need to step up and help. A 36-year-old Chris Paul carry the offensive load here. Chris Paul's great, but he's not Chris Paul of old. I mean, he can't be putting up numbers. He can't be playing 40 minutes a game anymore, especially playoff minutes. And Chris Paul has been great, right? Shooting 50% from the field. Obviously shooting from three is not his bag, but 50% from the field, from the floor is not bad at all.
Right.
And then you look around, you see Mikal Bridges, 22% from three. Landry Shamet, 20% from three. I mean, these are horrendous numbers. Cameron Johnson, they drafted you because you could shoot the three, 35% from three. Torrey Craig, another one. Jesus. I mean, these are just horrendous shooting numbers. Jay Crowder attempting attempting 4 3-pointers a game, 5% from three. I mean, the 3-point shooting in this series has been horrendous, and that's what's going to kill him here. And give credit to the Pelicans' defense, but the Pelicans don't have the second place finisher of Defensive Player of the Year on their team, right? So, these guys need to step up. I mean, they should not be getting torched by this Pelicans. Then there's no way in hell this series should be tied.
If you're a Phoenix Suns fan, I'm going to do the same game with you. How worried are you? Give me a rating, 1 to 10. 10 being I'm super worried. I'm going to, I don't know.
Because of Chris Paul's history in the playoffs, 7. Because before that run last year, let's remember, Chris Paul, not a great playoff track record. He performed, but his teams always went out.
Right.
Early, yeah. So I'm at a 7 right now. No Booker, no signs of that offense, gelling. We'll see tonight. I mean, if they can't win tonight, I'm at a 10 mega level. I mean, and then they're going back.
Tonight's game's going to be so pivotal. I mean, if the Suns come out and they show a much different game than what they have in these last 2 games and play better, win the game, okay, then that meter drops probably to where you are with the Sixers and a 3-2 as well. But yeah, if the Pelicans come out and go up 3-2 on you, yeah, that's when it goes up to that 10.
They have all the pressure on them too, Sammy. They'll have all the pressure on them.
Yeah. But all right, let's stick with this bracketology then. Let's go to kind of something you and I wanted to talk about. My Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
They lead the Utah Jazz 3-2. Luka Doncic is freaking back, folks. This is something I mentioned earlier when I had talked about this trade being a really good trade as far as pieces to this Luka Doncic puzzle. It seems to be that at this time, I'm reading a lot of articles on it. Like, it just seems like this Mavericks team is gelling at the right time, but this Jazz team is going down at the wrong, or not gelling at the right time. Or they're not gelling at the wrong time.
Quinn Snyder is not long for this world, folks.
But Vic, what is up with this Utah Jazz? They don't look like the same team you mostly and our show hyped up last season.
Yeah, and the main reason I did was a young man by the name of Donovan Mitchell. I thought he was Dwayne Wade incarnate, but he was more like Flame. You know what I mean? Like, he was terrible. Go say what you want about Gobert and what he doesn't do offensively. Defensively, he really impacts the game. I hate that he thinks that he should have been Defensive Player of the Year, but he didn't have to guard people like Durant, and he didn't have to guard. But all right, I'm not going to get into that.
Right.
But he really impacts the game defensively, like he did in Game 1. Donovan Mitchell, for all intents and purposes, seems like he's checked out, kind of, or that he just he doesn't play defense. I mean, that's what drew me to him last year was his ability to break down defenders. He reminded me of Jaylen Brown that could shoot better last year, and we're just not seeing it with the Jazz this year. I don't know how much of that is team and chemistry, because I know that there's been rumblings that those guys don't get along, Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. But Mitchell doesn't play defense. And honestly, Joe Ingles got hurt early in the season, right? Obviously, he got shipped out, but he was a guy that would help out there a lot on the offensive end as well, and the playmaking end. So I think his loss is felt. But mainly it's Donovan Mitchell. I mean, if you look at, I'm just looking at his defensive rating right now, and Donovan Mitchell's defensive rating for this series is at a. Let's see here. Oh, God dang it. Well, it's not good, folks. I'll tell you that right now. If my computer decides not to freeze, I'll tell you. But.
Is that his defensive rating? You want me to pull it up? I got it right here.
I got it right here. It's pulling up. But I mean, what are you seeing on the Utah Jazz? And is it the Mitchell thing? I mean,
I was gonna agree with you. He looks checked out. Doesn't look like the same player. Not engaged. It just seems like we saw a little bit of the chemistry. I forgot what game it was with Gobert and Mitchell at one point, but then Mitchell goes back to being, who knows, like just doing his own thing, playing by himself and playing selfishly and not coming back, not playing engaged defense, kind of, being.
I mean, he has a -11 net rating,
Right.
a 118 defensive rating.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. And for somebody who's supposed to be your best player, he's playing 38 minutes a game. He's at 34.8% usage rate, dude. So this guy has the ball in his hand all the time, and this is the guy that you have, to go to war with. Come on now, a lot like Jason Tatum in the Brooklyn series. You see Tatum, you see your star player get in there, fight like a dog, get all up in KD, force those turnovers. It makes the team want to play better defense. Yeah. You look at Royce O'Neal averaging 31 minutes this series, -19 net rating with a defensive rating of 125.9. This is a Utah team that was one of the best defensive teams last year. They have fallen off a cliff, and I am sad to say one of those guys is not going to be here next year, Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert.
If you're a Jazz fan, I'm asking you this again. Another question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you right now?
Well, aren't the Mavs the higher seed?
Yeah. Barely. It's 4-5.
If I'm a Utah Jazz fan, I already packed up my shit. The series is over.
Oh, shoot. I think the next game is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got Suns tonight, and then Warriors, Denver, Mavericks, Jazz, and I think that's it for tomorrow, right?
Yeah. All right, so that looks like your next matchup is actually, I don't even know. This is another series where we're looking at we don't really know what's going to happen here. I mean, we're probably think it's going to be Mavericks Suns, but it could be Pelicans Mavericks.
Both ways, right? I mean, but hey, let's be honest. It's definitely going to be. I mean, the Mavericks are making it through. I'm less worried about the Mavericks than I am the Suns.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Mm-hmm. But all right, let's go to the number 2 seed then. Let's see who we got here. The Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves tied at 2-2. Now, we just want to take our flowers from Townie Sports and tell you guys that this is the series we told everybody was probably going to be the best series in this first round, and it has lived up to every expectation. Vic, how have you enjoyed this series so far?
Oh, it's been great, other than the one Towns poo-poo game. But other than that, it's been awesome. Right now, the Timberwolves lead the Grizzlies with 7:31 left in the third, 67-59 Timberwolves again with the lead. This is another crucial game. Series is tied 2-2. Grizz have home court, but if they lose this game in the home court, once again, all the pressure's on them going back to Minnesota. And just like Towns says, we're in mini now, baby. So Towns having a good game this shit so far, 12.6 rebounds. Desmond Bane, is he the second best player on the Grizzlies?
Probably.
Jaren Jackson Jr. moved down wrong? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Desmond Bane's been great. Former Celtic Desmond Bane. He was traded on draft night, for those who don't know. But if Towns can stay out of foul trouble and Edwards can be Ant-Man, I'm worried if I'm the Grizzlies. Ja has not looked the same since he's come back from the injury. Not in terms of explosive, he's still explosive, but in terms of taking care of the ball, his turnovers are higher, and his points are down. His shooting has been bad as well since he's come back. Another one I'm worried about the favorite here. Now, I'm probably at a 5. I know because I know you're gonna ask me. I'm at a 5 with the Memphis thing. But if they lose this game, again, I'm going up to 10 here.
Wow, that's a big jump.
No, but I mean, yeah, if you don't win your games at home, you're going to lose the series. That's just how it works. You have to win your home. You have to defend home court. And
I'm going to say something, and you're going to think I'm crazy. And I love when you and I talk about the West because this is where we always have our little quips back and forth. I think the Memphis Grizzlies have a roster problem with Ja Morant. And what I mean by that is I think this roster is constructed too well that if you pluck him out, this is a rare situation where if you pluck him out, this team could still be pretty good. And they would probably need another player, but not Ja Morant. I don't think he fits there. I think it's going to sound crazy because I love Ja Morant. You know how much I love Ja Morant.
Yeah.
But
it does sound crazy.
I think he's a black hole. Like, I really do think he's a black hole. The ball stops at him. That's why he's doing what he's doing. That's why you're seeing what's happening. Because I think in the regular season, as you and I both know, you don't see the defense as much. You don't see full teams engaged for the full 45, 48 minutes. And in this case, there's a lot more pressure. There's a lot more defense.
Shorter lineup.
Right. And he's getting a little bit more exposed, and there's more pressure on him. So he is having those turnovers, and he's showing that this is the player he is. Now, he's great. He's I'm not saying he's a bad player, at all. At all.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting.
He has the ball. It stops, and sometimes that's not good, especially in the playoffs. You know that. If you have a ball stopper, that can kill you.
I mean, it must be an eye thing though, because I'm not seeing that. He's averaging 10 assists, 11 assists this series. I'm not seeing that.
In key situations, you'll see
it. His shooting is what scares me the most. 40% from the field, 27% from three.
He forces a lot of shots. That's what I mean. He's forcing a lot of shots.
He's never been a great 3-point shooter.
No.
But, 27%, you might as well just roll the ball to the other side of the court. I get what you're saying. I see where you're coming from, but he's the best player on that team, and it's not even close.
I know.
Remember, and he's only 22, so give him 4 more years. Let him find a shot. Let him find out how to play point guard a little bit better, and I think he'll be just fine. I'm not worried about
that. That's what I'm that's what I want. I want him to learn how to play point guard better.
Well, I think, and not only that, but I think that they're missing bangers. You know what I mean? They're missing people that go in and bang. I'm gonna do the Chuck thing. Jesus Christ, I almost did it. When you're banging the dude down low,
nice.
For all those who watch Inside the NBA, Kyle Anderson, it doesn't scare me on defense. Zaire Williams doesn't scare anybody on defense. Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, those guys aren't scaring me on defense. On the offensive end, they are, but
that team plays pretty good defense, though. They have a pretty good team defense.
I know, but what are they in this playoffs? Because I don't. That's actually where I don't see it, Sammy. I don't see their team defense being all that good. I think it's average at best. I just saw Cat just stroll the hoop like he was.
Who do they have that can stop Cat though?
Cat stops himself, so.
Well, yes, but but as far as
which brings me. Let's talk about the other side of the series for a little bit. And I know we're way over right now, but
we are
playoff hoops, baby. So on the other side, Anthony Edwards, star. What's his ceiling to you? Star, superstar, top 5 player.
This is gonna sound so cop out between star and superstar,
So do you think how many All-Star games do you think he makes in his career? Over, under 5?
Over.
I love this dude, man. I love watching this dude play. He doesn't give a shit.
He's becoming my favorite player. I don't like Ja Morant anymore.
Oh wow, that's crazy. His defense is horrible.
Yeah.
But he's a second year in the league.
Yeah.
That will come. But
with his attitude, it will definitely come.
His balls, the size of this man's balls. I don't know how he fits him in his shorts, dude. This guy's incredible, and you don't need to worry about who's taking the last shot in the game. Cat, suck my dick. I'm taking this one. Even though Cat's the better shooter, whatever. He has that Mamba mentality, and I know it sounds so corny to bring that up, but he has that Mamba mentality where he ain't afraid of shit, and he knows he's the best player on the floor, and I just love it. I love watching him play. Cat, I love watching him play too when he's on the floor, but the guy fouls way too damn much, and stupid fouls too.
Yeah.
It's funny because Jaren Jackson Jr. on the other side of the court has the same problem. Two big guys who can't stop getting dumb fouls.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's probably what cost Jaren Jackson Jr. the Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, that team. Hold on. Yeah, Edwards is my guy too, man. I mean, Cat has been shooting well so far from pretty much everywhere. I mean, shooting well from the field, shooting well from three. But yeah, I mean, okay, so. I don't know who. I guess you should. If I'm a Grizzlies fan, what's the score right now? Oh, you said 5. You said 5. You said 5. So I already asked you the question. So you said you're at a 5, and if the Wolves win tonight, you're at a 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I I was at 5 the entire Celtics series until they blew that whistle at the end of the 4. Okay.
Oh, really?
So I'm always on edge.
But all right, so the last series we got to is the Golden State Warriors are up on Denver 3-1. Keynote: the Golden State Warriors have a 62.7% effective field goal percentage this playoffs and are leading the playoffs in this metric by a ton.
They've looked good. They have looked really good, unbeatable even at some points.
My pick.
Yeah, this is the, in my opinion, they have become the favorites in the West, right?
Yep.
This has by far been like the worst series so far, in terms of like games. The game, like the basketball's been great from the Warriors perspective.
For the Warriors, yeah.
But in terms of the games, they've been boring. I feel bad for Jokic. He really has nobody. He's on a damn island. But yeah, I mean, what else can you say? What else can you say except for the Warriors and a Warrior?
Yeah, and then that game's tonight, right? 9:30. You think they close it out?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And I think I was mentioning their offensive rating is the highest of any playoff team. I think it's by like 10 or 12 points to second. So the Warriors look damn good, man. Like they look like the favorites. But I know we went over, but Vic, any last words on the NBA playoffs overall? It could be anything miscellaneous, anything you want to touch on before I move to the draft quick.
I wish we didn't have to wait 2 weeks to talk about what's going to happen next. I wonder what our future selves are talking about right now.
Hey, I mean, hit it next Tuesday. We'll do it.
Yeah. Let's go. I'll tell you what, Sarah, this has been the most fun I've had during an NBA playoff stretch in a long time. I mean, games every day, every night. And for the most part, you're getting at least one quality game. So I'm loving it.
Yeah. These games have been really, really good.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get to a little bit of boring stuff, some big news. The NFL draft is happening this Thursday. I don't know if anybody cares this year. I'm joking. A lot of people care. But I think it's going to be more of an individual event, more so than a big event. And that's kind of unfortunate. The draft is going to be pretty boring for most people. This is a draft that is heavy for people who don't know. This is a draft that is really heavy in skilled positions. So kind of as I pull it up, which way? There, right here.
Yep.
As you can see, there's not a quarterback anywhere in the top 10. Vic, you want to mention what you were going to mention about what you have heard rumblings of?
Yeah. I've heard that there will be a quarterback taken in the top 10. And I think, and I'll be completely honest with you, I haven't followed this draft at all, but Kenny Pickett to the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
So
That seems
bing, bada boom. Is it though?
I mean, based on what I'm reading, bro, I mean, I've really, to be 100% honest, like these drafts always, like they kill me, dude. They absolutely kill me because it's not like they're big, splashy, flashy type of picks. I mean, you have your top 3 or 4 as far as those skill positions the most, and then it's kind of like everybody else is the same, right? Like everybody's been talking about that day 1 is going to be okay, but it's really the day 2 players that are probably going to be the most impactful across the board. Like these are the guys we're going to see in 4 years that are going to be like big time players in the NFL because there's a lot of talent there, as far as those linebackers, cornerbacks, offensive line players, and defensive line players that are going to be there. So yeah. So I mean, as far as the Patriots go, I think it's pretty obvious. Linebacker, corner. That's what we're looking at. Wide receiver.
You think they're going to draft? Huh.
Not the first round. I think this is a case where we're definitely drafting out. So we're going to give our first pick probably for 2 seconds or a second and a third and just load up in that middle round because it's all the same.
And if not, we're just going to take a defensive lineman or some shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you mentioned early on, if we can't get Jameson Williams, I mean, I don't think there's anybody worth keeping that first round pick.
I don't think he's going to be gone before he gets to us. Do you?
I think so. Everywhere I'm reading, he's going in the top 15.
I don't even have. No, I'm looking at. Where did you see that?
Pro Football Focus has him in the top 15.
'Cause I have Drake London being the wait. What the fuck is this? Yeah, Drake London being the first wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, I'm sorry, being the first wide receiver off the board. Mm-hmm. Garrett Wilson. And then next one, Jameson Williams, 15 to the Eagles.
Yeah. I think it's as high as like 19 is probably where he'll maybe get to.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Or 17 to the Chargers.
Yeah. So.
But, I mean, if Garrett Wilson drops, I'd take Garrett Wilson too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility too, but everywhere saying top 10.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, there's 3 wide receivers that are here to take, right? Drake London, Jameson Williams, and Chris Olave. Oh shit, there's 4. Chris Olave too. Yeah, I mean there's quite a few here. All right, we'll see.
Too, but
yeah,
I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, if anybody, we could probably touch on the afterthoughts, what we think. But I mean, I don't know. There's not a lot of huge news with this draft.
Yeah, I've been watching too much playoff moves to pay attention to this. But we'll be on it. We'll be on it next week for you, or whenever 2 weeks when we come back, and we'll tell you our thoughts and our draft grades.
And we'll dissect it. Yeah, Bucks looking at offensive line. Obviously, you got Tom Brady. That's all you got to do in this first round. So, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, offensive line, defensive line. That's pretty much what the Bucks should be doing. So, just to touch on our home teams, Patriots, corner, linebacker, wide receiver, Buccaneers, offensive line, defensive line, and linebacker. Maybe a corner somewhere in there.
Corner.
Yeah. But all right. Major League Baseball. We have the games going on right now. You know what, Vic? You want to skip this for tonight? We can go through this in a couple weeks. I mean, it's still pretty early in the season. I don't know if you want to touch on a sound off on the Boston Red Sox. I know we're going a little bit over time.
I'm just talking about panic level earlier. I'm just going to be very quick here because my kids are knocking at my door.
All right.
And my wife's crying at me. But I am at a 6.9 right now in terms of worry level. And for Trevor Story personally, like that, I did that. I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm going to act like I did. And Trevor Story personally, I'm at an 8. I'm worried about this dude. I feel like we always strike out with these big-time free agents, and it really sucks. But then again, I feel like when was the last time you saw a big-time free agent go to a team really make a huge difference? Well, I guess JD, but other than JD, when was the last time you saw a big-time free agent go somewhere and really perform to the level of that being paid? Doesn't happen frequently. So, yeah, whatever.
I'm just going to throw this out there for you to make you feel a little bit better. So
sure.
I'm pissed because our approach hasn't been good. And I'll be 100% honest with it. My worry level's high because our offensive approach has been abysmal. But I will say this. As far as our bats go, that's been a common theme throughout Major League Baseball. And just to put one player out there to keep your mind at ease, Bo Bichette is batting .219.
Yeah, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is on a fucking tear. And they got a really good pitcher in Alex Manoah.
I'm just saying, no, but I'm saying for your Trevor Story take. I mean, bats, it's overall, bats are bad across the league for the majority. Because of the dead ball.
That's the issue.
The dead ball.
Like our bullpen has been horrendous.
No, it actually hasn't. We're top 10 as far as bullpen ERA, but because we watch so many games, we think our bullpen is terrible.
Dude, they blow every fucking game. How are they top 10 ERA? God, well, what are these other bullpens doing?
One of the best bullpens.
Our starting pitching, I thought, has been solid. Right. Am I crazy to think that? Hauk, Whitlock.
Hauk's been okay. Pavetta's been trash. Rich Hill's been good.
Hauk's been good. Hauk hasn't been bad. Hauk's had some good appearances. I think he's had it's like a 2-something ERA, doesn't he? I mean, granted, it's small sample size, right?
Sample size.
I mean, how about Whitlock in that first start? Jesus Christ, that guy was fucking sick.
We got a winner.
I know. I hope so. I really hope so. He looks great. And if Chris Sale comes back, who knows? Who knows? Bring up Cassis.
He's going to.
Marcelo.
He's probably going to come up sooner than later.
Yeah, or be trade bait, one of the two.
Yeah. But all right, Vic, I know you got to go, so I could do this closeout, and then, unless you have something to say.
No.
Let me to close it out, whatever you want to kind of close out your statements with, and then I can.
I just want to thank you all, everybody, for joining me. Sammy, I'm sorry about my kids are running behind me.
You are good, brother.
Still not sleeping. So
good, brother.
I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I'll be watching. I will be watching.
All right, bro. Thank you, everybody. As always, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know we went a little late, of course. As you can see, I have a nice picture of Vic right beside me. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Vic is now gone. We're going to be giving you so much more great content. I can't wait till the NFL comes back. Barring anything, we might come back next week because I know we will have some playoffs, NBA playoffs that are going to be completed. So we may come back next week, but as always, we will be back in 2 weeks, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So again, we love you. Thank you so much for choosing us for all your listening pleasure on all things sports. The show would not be possible without you. If you are listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please remember to leave us a 5-star review. Tell us you love us. Give us some recommendations on some other sports talks you want to hear about. We love diving into analytics and all that good stuff with sports, so we are not afraid to touch on any other teams. We like to touch on kind of the main hitting storylines while diving into more of the analytics, as well as obviously talking about our hometown sports of Boston and Tampa. So if you are watching and listening on YouTube, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Every one of our reviews, likes, and subscriptions helps us with the YouTube algorithm to reach other potential viewers and to grow our channel even more. And lastly, don't forget to check out our social media pages. I've been on vacation, so I haven't been able to keep up as much with the social media, but trust me, I will be back on it this week. Check out our Instagram page at Townie_sports, and of course our TikTok page at Townie Sports Pod, all one word. That's where I'll pop some mini clips in there, some highlights of the show as they drop, and to give you guys the insight so you guys can come back and leave us some comments after you see a clip. But again, I am your host, Sammy, alongside the great Vic. He is not currently here, but he's always here in spirit. We love you. We are Townie Sports, and we'll see you guys next week.
Hey, swag so mean, swagger on 100. We keep it real, dog. Nah, we ain't never fronted. You know my whole cap G-clan stay blunted. My toes stay bruised, cause I'm running to the money. Swag so mean, swagger on 100. We keep it real, dog. Nah, we ain't never fronted. You know my whole cap G-clan stay blunted. My toes stay bruised.